So today we're here in Fulton, Missouri. We are going to go through the auto museum here, and I've seen this from the highway. If you travel on Highway 54 north or south, just outside of Fulton, you'll see this museum on the east side of the road. And a lot of people I've talked to have seen it. I've always wanted to come here, and a lot of people have, but they never have. So today that's what we're going to do. We're going to answer some common questions that I get asked about it too, or that come up in discussion, not really that I get asked because I've never been here. And that is, how much does it cost? What do they have there? And is it really worth going? So join me today as we try to answer some of those questions. But regardless, we're going to be looking at cars, so it's going to be a good time. Come on. So adults are $10, senior and military are $9, kids are $6, and they also do group rates. So look into that. They do take debit cards, Visa and MasterCards. You can also purchase a snack and a drink from the front here. They do have a map of Missouri up here, so if you're from out of town, you can see exactly where you are in the state. If you do need to use a restroom before or after the tour, they have nice working restrooms. Feel free to peruse the lobby. They have plenty of nostalgia stuff to look at to pique your interest, while some of your group may be using the restroom or grabbing a snack or something to drink. They do also have things for purchase in the lobby. They have plenty of hats, cups, mugs, some classic cars, the usual things that you would find at a car museum. I personally bought a hat there, very happy with it. I looked at several things, so they have a nice selection. One of the things that I really like were these almanacs right here. They have different years, as you can see. So if you're into nostalgia and you want one from maybe a year that you remember or highlight in your memory, well, there you go. Now, the museum was started by Mr. Backers, who also founded Backers Potato Chips. You can grab you a bag of Backers Potato Chips in the lobby. Now here you'll start off in a little area. They'll provide a little presentation on this TV, and that'll explain all about Mr. Backer and why he started the museum. Now, as you can see, we're coming around to the DeLorean. This is the only display that you are allowed to sit in. You can sit in it, have friends take your pictures. Coming up here, there's some other neat cars. This is actually Tiger II, which was done by the University of Missouri. It's actually a solar-powered car, and it visited my school in the 90s. This is a Stanley steamer. Yes, the same Stanley from the Stanley Hotel. So it's pretty cool. Make sure you check it out. That's an electric car over there. I had to go back to this Stanley steamer. It's a pretty cool item. So make sure you take the time and check it out. And there's a lot in this little area to kind of take in. Here's the electric car that I mentioned. And then you got some of the display cases that have all kinds of, 1/24th die-cast cars. Now, the museum does go around from oldest to newest. So as you start, you're going to start your journey in some of the earliest cars. Now, I'll try not to talk through the whole thing. I know I have a brief presentation coming up here, just explaining why the tires on this Ford are white due to the natural colors. This Ford was a beautiful, beautiful car. This is a magnificent car. I couldn't imagine riding in this or actually owning it. Now, a lot of times there are plaques like these right here that will tell you about the cars. Some of them actually have QR codes that you can scan for audio purposes, and they will have like a little placard down there that will also tell you what the cars are. Now, as you can see here on some of these older vehicles, the rubber on the tire is actually white. It's not black, and that's because this is its natural color. The tires are actually dyed black. So a lot of your early cars used to have white tires. As a Mopar fan, this is probably one of my favorite cars in here that I've seen so far anyway. One of the reasons, if I'd won the lottery or made it rich somehow, this is a car that I'd love to own, because this is a 1922 Dodge Brothers touring car. So why is that significant? Well, one, I love Dodges. Two, I like the business model of the Dodge Brothers. I like what they stood for. I like how they were. They actually had input on this design, the specs of this car. So to get a car that had their influence, their actual opinions, hands-on, that would be amazing as a Dodge fan, and as a fan of the Dodge Brothers, like I said. So looking at this up close is it's just awesome. So besides that, back in 1922, you could get this for under $1,000, and you were riding in style. I've always loved old panel bands like this, so I just had to make sure I get it on film to show the audience. But look at that. Now, you had to know I was going to come back to this race car. So before they were called sprint cars, this is obviously not big enough to be an Indy car, but these were referred to as big cars. And as you can see, they were pretty rudimentary. It actually took a lot of work to drive these things around the track. And that pump on the side is actually a fuel pump. They used to have to hand pump it as they were going down through the track. So that would have been for a heck of a race. I know a lot of people like the 68, 69 Camaros, but by far the second gen Camaro is my favorite. Absolute hands down favorite. People ask me if there's a year Camaro that you'd love to have, especially considering I'm a Mopar guy. It's this right here. It's hard for me not to get drool all over this car, just because I absolutely love these. They're short, they're sleek, they just look fast when you're just standing still. I mean, I feel like I can get my doors blown off, you know, just standing here, man. I have to hold on to my hat because, you know, this thing looks so fast. Like I said, 1970 Z28 Camaro. You just can't say enough about these. I love these cars. So we just panned this car, and if you're a Chevy muscle fan or a Chevy sports car fan, you know exactly what this is. It is a 63 Stingray Corvette. Now I'm pretty sure that 63 was the first year that they introduced the Stingray, and yes, it is a split window. So just looking at this car again, this car is they're pretty amazing. Now this isn't my favorite kind of Corvette, but it still comes in at a very, very close second.
Keeping with the nostalgia theme, you'll find plenty of old gasoline and oil brands, as well as old vintage pumps. A lot of people have collected these up and restored them, and gladly so. That way they can be preserved and enjoyed for many generations. Oh, look at those prices. I think most of us would love to go back to that. They do a pretty good job of keeping the nostalgia theme going. One thing I thought was pretty cool was this old diagnostic machine that they had from a dealership, as well as an old diner scene. So there's lots to look at, not just cars. If you are into the nostalgia, this truck, I just had to take a video of it by itself. It's an amazing beauty. It's a Hudson. And this is it just caught my eye. I thought it was a beautiful truck from the moment I saw it. The interior is gorgeous. I couldn't imagine going down the road. I believe this is a 1947 or 1948.
Now there are several reasons to come to a museum like this. One is just being a general car enthusiast. Another reason is if you like movies that were set in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. A lot of times places like these are the only place that you are going to get up close and personal with those cars from your favorite movies, your favorite time periods. When you think of Babe Ruth, even when you think of The Mob, or Bonnie and Clyde, or like I talked about the Dodge Brothers earlier in the video. Sometimes places like these allow us to connect with those time periods. Another thing that it does, it allows us to see cars and names that aren't necessarily around anymore or used today. Stuff like Nash, DeSoto, or Hudson. I mean, even the name AMC is not really thrown around anymore unless you are in the muscle car enthusiast or classic car enthusiast. So that's another thing that these museums do. It allows you to see those cool hood ornaments, these cool designs, these cool names that these people like Ransom Olds came up with, or the Dodge Brothers, or some of these other people that had designs in their heads. They work with their engineers, put them on paper, and you get to see what come out. Museums like these that keep and preserve cars from these time periods allow you to kind of get an up close and personal look at a piece that is from those time periods. It allows you to connect and kind of see what your daily driver, everything from your daily drivers to what the stars were, chauffeured around Hollywood in.
Now, if you are having a car reunion or a special event, keep the Auto World Museum in mind, they do have an event space that can hold up to 120 people. As you can see, it's got a couple cool cars and some cool nostalgic feel to it. So like I said, keep them in mind if you've got a special event coming up, and go ahead and give them a call. I'll have all the information at the end of this video. See what they can do for you. So, to answer that last question, is it worth it? Yeah, I think it is. $10 is not a bad price. Also, they had senior military pricing as well as group pricing. Had a great event space. The staff was awesome. The museum itself, I mean, I enjoyed it thoroughly. Now, I am a car guy, but getting up close to those cars, hey, it was awesome. So if you're a car lover and you're in the area of Fulton, Missouri, or if you're coming down here for an event, go ahead and check out the Auto World Museum here in Fulton. They do have some events throughout the year. One of the things they do is a Willys reunion. Now, a lot of people think that Willys, only does Jeeps, but they actually do cars, trucks. They had a few vehicles that were pretty cool. I've actually seen a couple trucks that I thought were really, really neat in the Willys family. They do a couple events throughout the year, so go ahead and check the website. Make sure you don't miss anything. Maybe something catches your eye. Or if you're in the Fulton area and you have time to kill, this is a great way to add to your vacation or your weekend. The staff was great. The museum was great. The pricing was really great. I think that all in all, yeah, it was a great value. I loved going through it. Like I said, I loved bringing you with me because we got experience together. And hey, that's what matters, the experience. So